Tara, what make you want to work in killer lies chasing a true crime con man?
Yes, so I was so captivated by this story from the first moment we heard about it from the journalist who wrote the piece for the New Yorker, Lauren Collins. And as she started to tell us about Stéphane Bourgoin and his decades of lies and the incredible group of fourth eye kind of crusaders like Maat, who really were willing to go on the front line to hold him accountable. I just saw it as a documentary from the first moment. It's such the perfect way to talk about our obsession with true crime. And it is exciting and thrilling, and it's this great kind of page turner of a story, but it also has real substance behind it. And it really allows us to look at this industry of true crime through a new lens and really think about the roles we as the media have in telling these types of stories. So these are my favorite types of documentaries to get to produce.
Yes, it was really nice. And seeing like Maat, that's how you say it. I don't know if I'm correct. Like you get, this documentary series about talking about vigilance online, trying to cut all these guys' lies, and you guys make this corporation, the 4i corporation. How you get involved with it, and what is actually its mission?
Well, we don't see it as a mission really, but I'm a founding member of the Fourth Eye. We were all members of a true crime enthusiast group on the internet, on Facebook. And one day, one person was asking advice on books, what to buy, which is a good author, which is not a good author, because he was going on holidays and he wanted to have stuff to read during his holidays. And one guy said, did you hear about Stéphane Bourgoin? He wrote so many books. And one people in the chat in the group was saying, well, Bourgoin, I have a reservation about him. And I'm like, wow, I'm not the only one. Brilliant. Let's talk with this guy. Let's see why he doubts him, and so on. And I was realizing that I was not the only one smelling something fall in there. So in the end, we were creating a discussion group on the side of that true crime enthusiast little group. We created a chat group in which we all discussed and realized that there was something going on there. There was really, really something hidden and something maybe interesting to dig in. And we called ourselves the Fourth Eye, because Stéphane Bourgoin had a library called the Third Eye. So we chose that as a little wink to him. And we decided to investigate is a big word. We are not investigators. None of us is in link with true crime or anything. But we wanted to dig and check what was going on in the field. That was in July 2019.
Wow,
it's still going.
So I'm like, what being an online vigilant, like investigator, what would be the risk? For justice and the potential risks that you can have doing this online, vigilism and investigation. What is the repercussions? What could happen?
What could happen? You could have completely unhinged people knocking on your door, but luckily it didn't happen so far. But no, I'm kidding. But there was not really a risk. As I already explained several times, we are anonymous not because we have something to hide or anything. It's because first, we all have lives. And especially, we are not important. We just want to be the medium through which the truth is going to be known. That's what is important. We are completely irrelevant in the picture. We don't want our 15 minutes of fame. That is of no interest to us. But we want the truth to be known. That's the point.
And I will say that we really had to convince Maat and the others to participate, because it was so important to them that this not be about them. They did the work, and they did, well, not necessarily putting themselves at risk. They did have to kind of put themselves out there and take
the risk.
Take the risk of just calling someone into account who was so part of the status quo and for so long had not been held accountable. And And so they were willing to do that because it was so important to them that the truth get out there. And when we first started talking to them about the documentary, they made it very clear that this was not about them, and that several members wanted to maintain their anonymity and wear masks for the documentary. Not out of any personal issues, but simply because they wanted the focus to be on Bourgoin, and they wanted to have the focus be on the victims and the people who Bourgoin's lies had directly affected.
And I want to add that just something I want to add. It's always when you are carrying a message, people tends to focus on the person giving the message. I would say you have the most interesting thing to say in the world. If you have a little piece of salad between your teeth, people will focus on that, and they will completely obscurate everything you say. You see, we didn't want people to be focused on us, but focused on what we were saying. That's the important thing.
One thing that I was watching that I kind of find it interesting, you guys did your work trying to expose him, and people were just like laughing out loud, like, not believing on you, that it took like a media from New York or whatever it was, I don't remember, to expose to actually people to take it seriously. And not even that, it took more time, like for more media to cover, to make it international. And it's so hard to people cannot just, okay, we did our work, it's proof, we have it right, why you don't believe us? And it had to take the media to make it international, to actually people to even care that it's actually
There's a really simple explanation to that. It's that he was so well known in the French media that saying, wait a minute, he's a crook or a liar or something, they will have to admit that they never fact-checked anything. And it was not seeing them in the best light as well. It was putting them on the spot, saying, you invited this guy countless times for interviews, and his experience and his expertise and stuff, and the guy is lying on the whole subject. So where does that put the French media? So that's why when we were contacting media, usually they just laughed in our face, saying, you nobodies, you're just some conspirationists, sorry. And they just laughed in our face and closed the door. And we were like, what can we do about this? And we were more than surprised that it went all the way to New York, and thank God that it went there, because luckily we got contacted and we were like, finally somebody's believing us.
Listening, yeah.
Phew, what did it take?
For Sarah, what was the most challenging, aspect of doing this? Because I'm pretty sure there should be some challenges to having all this, recover all this data, or collecting all this data, and make sure that we get it as an audience, the truth as possible. How talk to me about the challenges and how you overcome them.
I mean, I think so. I think the first challenge is always, how do you take something that started as an article and bring it to life on screen, and how do you ensure that we have the right materials to do so? And the team, Ben Selkow, our director, did such an incredible job finding a wealth of archive and really being able to find all of the clips from not only Stéphane, but from his early days in documentary, and really kind of bring that to life on screen. I think the next challenge was really how do we ensure that we're holding Bourgoin accountable? He is a man who continually and continues to lie. And so really being forceful in our interviews, doing multiple interviews with him, having the facts ready to go. That was a huge part of the process, and I think really shows in the series. And then I think the last challenge that we always face in a project like this is, how do we ensure it is entertaining, it is twisty and turny and undeniable to watch, while still being responsible in terms of the journalism, in terms of the way we are treating our subjects, in the way we are talking about victims of often brutal, violent, horrible crimes, right? We don't want to re-victimize people through a documentary that is about re-victimizing. And so I think that was a big challenge, and we really pushed every step to ensure that we were telling a story that was exciting and interesting and obviously and luckily entertaining to people like you, but also made you think and was responsible and hopefully brought new conversation to the topic of true crime.
Yeah. And Matt, a question for you. There is actually, you know, here in the United States, I see it online a lot. There's a lot of groups, member, Facebook, whatever, about online investigating. You know, there's podcasts about true crimes, all this stuff. There's actually podcasters who have gone to places and discovered, you know, stuff that help the crime to get, you know, solved or whatever. How you see these roles in the future for online vigilance and investigators that are not true investigators, but, you know, they do their part to make sure everything, you know, the crime gets solved?
Well, for us, as soon as Bourgoin stops being what he is, and as soon as he stops trying to get back in the limelight like he's continuously doing, for us, our job will be done. We will, as soon as he says, I'm retiring, it's over, I don't write books anymore, I'm retiring from the public eye, our eye will close. That was our goal, like 2 years ago. We said, okay, we expose him. He's got the Paris Match interview in which he said, I am a bad boy, blah, 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 blah. I wanted to please my parents, blah, blah. Yeah, we won. It's over. And on the very same evening, he was on his, since deceased, Facebook page, saying it was a lie. I never even met that journalist. It's a whole fabrication. And we were like, wait. Maybe we still have to be vigilant because he's trying to come back. You toss him out the door and he climbs back through the window. So no, enough is enough. So, but as soon as it's done for us. We are not gonna, I would say, pursue anybody else. It's not our goal. We were dedicated on this case, and that will be all for us. But if people want to be following your footsteps, if I could say like that, it sounds a bit preposterous, or I don't know. It sounds like I'm putting ourselves in front. But if they want to do it, please do. The less crooks in the world, the better. I would say, if you know somebody who's cheating, who's lying, please, by all sakes, expose them. Do it. Please, you will help people doing that. So please don't hesitate. As soon as you see somebody who's deserving this, do it. Please.
Well, thank you so much for this, and I appreciate it for your time. And I love it. I watched it 3 episodes.
So much.